How high can FOFAR's price go? Welcome to Crypto Simulation Theory. I'm the Gaussian snake. This is not intended to be financial advice. And which FOFAR are we talking about? Well, there's only one. There's the original FOFAR, 0x420, which is the meme super community on Ethereum. They've got a lot going on there, including games that are coming out soon, decentralized social gaming arcade, NFTs, prizes, all kinds of great stuff. Go sign up. Link is in the video description. And just for the record, I do own FOFAR. However, I was not asked to make this video by the project nor endorsed in any kind of way. So just to kind of get that out there, purpose of today's video is to answer a question that people have been asking me, which is how high can FOFAR's price go during the bull run? And while we can't answer that with any degree of certainty, there are certain techniques we can look at to try to determine that. Before we do that, though, we should take a look at where FOFAR is currently and get an idea of how healthy the price trend is, and then we can extrapolate off of that. So that's what we'll do ahead and do. When I look at FOFAR's chart on the daily time frame, I'm noticing something. FOFAR is starting to bull out, and this bulling is generally a very, very bullish formation that precedes a parabolic launch. Doesn't have to work that way because, of course, this is my own subjective interpretation of the chart. But I've seen this before. I've called this pattern out with other projects. If you go through, and watch all my YouTube videos on altcoins, and you'll see that I have called this pattern out. I called the pattern like this out on Arrow when it first came out, and I'm seeing this bulling start to happen again. Of course, we can't just go off of one shape. We should go look at some moving averages and see what's going on there as well. This is a moving average ribbon of whole moving averages from the purple, which is the 10-day, the yellow is the 20-day, the green is the 40-day, the blue is the 50-day, and the white is the 100-day. FOFAR has been just kind of oscillating around the 40 and the 50, and it's been managing to hold the 50. Sandwiched between the 40 and the 50 at the moment, and it looks like the 10 is starting to curl back up. We've seen this pattern just kind of playing out. And it's interesting because all charts have their own sort of characteristics to them. And FOFAR's recovery has been really sort of characterized by this almost like bunny hill jumping, right? Like bunny hill, bunny hill, bunny hill, bunny hill. That pattern won't last forever, but it is a very healthy recovery pattern. I'd like to take a look at another moving average, which is sort of like my bull market support band or bear market resistance band, the Gunnar EMA. This is one of my favorite and most simple indicators. This is the Gunnar EMA. You can see from August of 2024 all the way until September. So for like an entire month, FOFAR had a bear market resistance band. That bear market ended in September and has turned into a bull market. And bull markets can start out slow with accumulation phases, and that's exactly what's happened here. We had like a triple bottom turn into a double bottom up here, and you can see that every time we come to test a bull market support band, we just go right above, back above it. This is so healthy to keep coming back and testing this. That's what you want to see. Very healthy. Bollinger Bands are starting to tighten in an uptrend. Price action has remained above the median line of the Bollinger Bands. I love this. It's kind of like the Gunnar EMA. You see all this testing and you see constriction indicating diminishing volatility. And I'll bet you if we turn the volume on, we're going to see the volumes contracting too. A little hard to see because we're so zoomed out, but if we zoom in, oh, we could zoom like that. Okay, hold on a second while I go the other direction. Yeah, you can see we had a pretty big spike of buy volume here on October 21st. Volume is contracting again, so this looks like a chart that just wants to pop. So I've had a few people in my Telegram group asking me to do price predictions for FOFAR, and generally I'm not super comfortable with price predictions because to me it feels like pseudoscience, trying to guess what's going to happen in the future. But there are some techniques that we can use to get an idea of what might be a realistic target for FOFAR's price. If you go to TechDev's Telegram, I mean not Telegram, his Twitter account, he recently posted about FOFAR. Although you would have to purchase his newsletter to find out the exact details of it. I'm going to try to perform my own analysis, and we'll go ahead and use fibs because fibs are kind of a good way to estimate the potential growth and areas of potential resistance as well that FOFAR might run into. Keep in mind this is also completely speculative, and you should take what I'm about to do with a grain of salt. But if you've been interested in a FOFAR price prediction, this is probably the closest you're going to get to one. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, for reference, let's go ahead and take a look at DEX tools. The market cap of FOFAR right now is about $4.34 million. So we do want to remember that. I'm going to write that down. Okay, so $4.34 million. This is going to be important because we're going to want to associate this price with a fib level, and that will give us a rough idea of the kind of, well, not even that, but we're going to need to see like if price goes to a certain fib level, and have the fibs on this chart right here, what would that mean? What would that correspond to in terms of multiples from here? And then we can just multiply by 4.34 million. So currently we're sitting just below the zero point 0.5 fib, where we did find some resistance, a few weeks ago, or not even weeks ago, about a week ago. I don't remember, this is a daily chart. The point 0.5 fib was also an area where it really broke down back in July. So it would be nice to see price overcome the point 0.5 fib, and I'm very confident that is going to happen soon, as soon as next week. Actually, it looks. I can just feel charts, man, and I can just see what this is doing, and it looks like it's ready to break through. So, but that being aside, what is sort of a good long-term price prediction for FOFAR? So look at where it is now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw some more fibs above the one fib, which I don't normally do. And it's sort of like, well, what kind of fibs would you do there? There's a lot of like disagreement because it's price predictions. Okay. So really, I'm just going to put some fibs up there and we're going to roll with it and see kind of where to go from there. Right. So give me a moment while I enter in some more fibs and we'll see kind of what that might look like. Okay, keep in mind FOFAR's current price as of right now is approximately 0.0001034 wrapped Ethereum. And so that is going to be a significant number, 0.0000103. Well, it looks like it's a, yeah, 4. Okay. So that's the price of FOFAR right now in wrapped ETH, which corresponds to approximately $4.34 million market cap. So if FOFAR were to reach, let's say, and I can do this as a measured move, or I can just plug it into my calculator. So these are all the fib levels above 1, and it gets kind of tricky as to like predicting exactly where these could go. The 1 fib corresponds to the previous all-time high of approximately 0.0004072 wrapped ETH. So I I think that a really conservative target for FOFAR is maybe the 1.414 fib. I think it's going to go higher than that, but that would basically take another zero off of where we are right now. So let's go ahead and do a calculation. Let's take 0.000122004 and let's divide that by 0.0001034 to get a multiple. That is a 12x in price compared to where we are now. That puts FOFAR at about as far as the market cap, $52 million market cap. So you're talking about an 11.8x to get to the 1.414 fib. I think we're going to do better than that. Okay. What about the 1.618, which is up here in, it looks like some kind of navy blue? That's 0.00. Okay, so I'm going to just enter this in. 0.00030 2095, we'll call it 959, right? And this would be a 20x from where we are now, roughly a 20x. We'll put FOFAR's market cap at about $88 million, and I think we can do better than that. What if we got to the 2.272 fib? That does seem kind of, high, and that would take off yet another zero. So that would be 0.00118682 divided by, again, 0.00001034. That is 115x. And I think that's actually achievable. And that would put FOFAR's market cap at $498 million, $500 million. I think that's achievable, and that could be a stopping point. So the 2.272 fib could correspond to a stopping point for price action. Now, some altcoins actually make it all the way up here to the 2.618. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that would correspond to. That's 0.002970004. I'm actually getting carried away here with the round. I'm not even rounding at this point. That would be a 288x. which would put FOFAR at a $1.3 billion market cap. And I think that's achievable. I think that could correspond to some kind of blow off top. Now, there are fibs above this one, even. Um, the 3.618 and the 4.236 do lie above. These are kind of, they're possible, okay? They're possible targets. Really depends on how well FOFAR does going into the end of the year and the early next year. If we can get a lot of momentum behind it, we could potentially get near the 3.618. I don't know if that's really that likely, but that would correspond to FOFAR being at 0.04286534 wrapped Ethereum. And if we divide that by 0.0001034, that's a 4070x. That puts our market cap at roughly, what did I say it was 4.3? $17 billion, 18 billion. Okay, I think we'll quit while we're ahead. That is a bit of a stretch, but it could happen. If Pepe were to go to 100 billion, it certainly, and Fofar's meme gaming arcade were to really take off and everything were to align perfectly, a move above the 2.618 could absolutely take place. Fofar would be positioning itself for sure in the top 100 at that point. It's hard to say. It depends what Bitcoin's total market cap is as well. So I think like realistically, if I had to like sort of shade in an area, let's go ahead and create a rectangle using the drawing tool, which I have to find on here, right here. If I had to guess at where I think FOFAR will probably reside by the end of this bull run, it's this is like so hard to do, but probably somewhere between the 1.786 and that's hard to say. I think we could hit the 2.414. I think it could happen. I think we could even potentially go to the 2.618 best case scenario, but let's just go ahead and put that range in there. It's nice to be somewhat realistic, right? I think somewhere in there could represent a good topping region. And who the heck knows? So far could defy expectations and shoot to the 3 fib, for all we know, and get to those billions of market cap. But I think a realistic market cap for FOFAR with all they're building really does lie somewhere between 1 and 10 billion. That's my opinion. And I think 1 billion is kind of conservative, honestly, for everything that FOFAR is building. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And again, this is all based off of fibs, so this is just one way of looking at things. But it's if you look back at past charts of altcoins and even Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin during its first cycle went to the 2.618. I think it actually did that twice, and then it started to diminish from there. So FOFAR hasn't really experienced diminishing returns yet over a long period of time because it's a new asset. So it could easily hit the 2.618. I'm not ruling that out, but I like to be conservative in my estimates. So one other thing that we can look at is what's the risk on FOFAR right now? Like we could look at it on the daily and say, what is the daily risk of buying FOFAR at this time? Well, I'll say I really like the way FOFAR has been building out its long-term bull flag. I like all the consolidation, whether it's downwards or upwards or sideways. You're building out time, and there's just no substitute for that. You can see early on, FOFAR was so popular. This is where we had our first shout out by TechDev. We shot all the way up to a risk of 0.65. And this risk scale goes from 0 to 1. Assets can and have gone above 1. This is not a perfect model, but generally speaking, when you get up to this 1 level with an altcoin, if it's a really popular altcoin, get a little bit above it, you're probably getting into bubble territory and you're going to experience a very prolonged cool off, probably within, a month or less. Um, FOFAR spent quite a bit of time in September and even early October in undervaluation range, but you can see what's happened since then. We're now no longer undervalued. Like we have been severely undervalued for this entire time. We are now in a very reasonable DCA zone, and we could flip back, to undervaluation, kind of straddle around this zero line. That could happen, or we could start heading towards this upper area where we start to get into more explosive price action. So the prices that we had over here, the previous all-time high, now might just correspond to hitting like somewhere in here. So risk on FOFAR at the current time is only about 0.03 out of 1. So that's huge. FOFAR is in a great DCA zone. So what this is telling me, this is a great time to buy FOFAR. Like anytime you're under here, it's very risky because you don't know if your asset's coming back. But when you're in this region between 0 and zero point 0.2, that is a really good buy zone. That's kind of how I think about it. We can come back and revisit this if and when FOFAR does get explosive and see kind of like, okay, what is the risk telling us? But right now, it's just telling me FOFAR is in a good DCA zone. That's literally all this tells me, and I like seeing that. That's a good thing that you do want to see. Just as a reminder, I do own FOFAR. And that's something you should take into consideration when you watch this video. I encourage you to do your own research, to join FOFAR Telegram, to ask questions, and be curious about the project, its fundamentals, its technicals, and everything that's going on with it. I, I'm personally crazy about this project. I love what they're doing. I feel like they're transforming, the meme coins, which have been around for a while, into something much bigger, into a movement, a super community, a meme super community. So, and they're doing this through a bunch of different ways, through social gaming, they're doing it through interaction with Telegram and Twitter. It's just a lot that's coming that you need to kind of be plugged in the community to find out about. So, thank you for joining me on another episode of Crypto Simulation Theory. I am the Gaussian Snake. I'd love to see you in my Telegram group, which is the Crypto Simulation Theory Telegram group. We used to be called the Snake Pit, but we've changed the name. And I'd also love to have you subscribe to my channel, so please go ahead and do that. Give the video a like if you enjoy the content, subscribe if you want to see more, and comment if you have any questions down below. And I'll see you again next time.